Husky, of course, has been close to the heart of Connecticut residents for many, many years now.
Especially after the University of Connecticut took on the mascot back in the 30s. It became a long-standing figure in college sports across the world.
Yeah, it certainly has. But there is another group of Husky fans, in a much more literal sense, that stays dedicated to the centuries-old tradition of dog sledding.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter David McKay bundled up and took a ride on the sled to hear the story of one woman that has dedicated her life to dog sledding.
It's a bright and beautiful December day, and the colder it gets, the more some want to get out and play. Thankfully, I wore my long johns today. Roll that dramatic cinematic title sequence. Let's get this sled going, or mush, I should say.
I'm Julia, and I'm a musher.
Every musher must have their team. Meet the cast and crew.
So this is Riker. He's the baby. He's about 8 months old, so this is his first season, his first time with snow.
The oldest dog is teaching the new one all the tricks. Barks, the 8-year-old with baby blues, helps bring up the back. Then you have Zola and Mochi, the two ladies in the middle, and Khan and Spock up front leading the pack. Bit of a Star Trek trend if you haven't noticed.
These are Siberian Huskies.
And they've been bred to sled.
They love it. They love to pull and run.
There's still wolf in them. Old and cold habits remain, ancient instincts urging them onward. But moving as a united pack comes with months of training.
So I've been doing it 8 years now.
Julia Klauke has been enthralled with dog sledding since she was a little girl.
When I was a kid, my mom read Balto to me. I was just fascinated by it, by the sled dogs and the snow and the winter, and I just thought it was the coolest thing.
A brief history lesson for those who may not know. Balto was a Siberian Husky who led his sled team on the final stretch of the 1925 Serum Run to Nome, Alaska. It was a relay in brutal weather conditions to transport an antitoxin to combat the outbreak of the deadly disease diphtheria. To this day, the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race, the largest sled dog race in the world, commemorates the trip. And there is a statue of Balto in New York City's Central Park.
Originally from Connecticut, but I grew up in Uzbekistan.
Unfortunately, Uzbekistan is mostly desert, so Klauke had to put her snow dog dreams on pause for a while.
After college, I got my first sled dog, and I started with a bike and just him, pulling my mountain bike, and from there my team kind of grew. And then I started training others that were interested in the sport, and it just kind of went from there.
Klauke has trained with the best.
When I first got into the sport, I went out and trained with a woman who actually runs the Iditarod, Karen Ramstead.
Ramstead has run the Iditarod 11 times.
And a couple of my dogs are from her, so some of them, their parents have run Iditarod.
Now a Reading resident, Klauke has become a dog sled trainer.
Right now, I'm a dog trainer, and I do train people to do urban mushing, and then I also work with shelter dogs. I'm surrounded by dogs all the time.
Urban mushing is when you have a dog or two, and they can pull you on a bike, scooter, or skis. Makes the hobby a bit more all-seasonal.
We do this all over Connecticut, so state parks, anywhere where there's a nice trail that they allow bikes, wheeled carts, that's where we go.
For a dedicated dog sled lover like Klauke with 6 dogs, it is a lifestyle.
If I get home even at 8 o'clock at night, I go out, I put on my headlamp, I put light-up collars on the dogs, and we go out and we run.
And just like any athlete, they have their days off and downtime.
They're couch potatoes as much as they love to get out and run.
These dogs can run hundreds of miles in a day and wake up the next and be ready to play. Hot air from their howls hits the cold air with excitement when their paws hit the snow.
I think they're very happy to see some snow finally.
Without much snow early in the season, Powder Ridge Ski Resort in Middlefield provided a special opportunity for us to see the dogs stretch their legs.
Yes, why not?
The pros top out in the 20s for speed, but to move as a pack, they must learn the basics.
Train them with particular words that they pick up. They hear the sounds, they know what it means. G means right, pause left, on by is to pass something. Usually, I'll do a high pitch like, all right, you ready? And they're like, oh yeah, we're ready, let's go.
Over the years, Klauke has networked and promoted the sport by going to schools and talking with people that show interest.
I love this sport so much, and I love these dogs so much that I really want to share it with as many people as I can.
Klauke says she would consider moving to a colder climate to pursue the sport. The teams that run the Iditarod have 16 dogs, and while she enjoys the competition even right here in the Connecticut State Forest, there is a simple reason to hook up the sled every day.
They love doing this, and that's why we do it. We do it for fun.
You don't have to have a husky to do it. Some people use pit bulls, hounds, or other breeds.
Mushing, it seems for a lot of people, they're like, oh my gosh, I never really thought of the sport, but it's a really great way to get out and exercise your dog, especially in the winter when it gets cold.
It's a chance to get outdoors, appreciate nature, and build upon a bond with your dog.
When you go out on the trail and you're both just all ready to go and share the same experience, and you kind of feel that and have the same excitement as your dogs do, there's something really cool about sharing that passion.
You can learn a lot from these dogs and the characteristics that they carry: trust, responsibility, reliability, pride, and they've got a lot more to offer as well. But for now, it's time for them to head home and put their heads down, because tomorrow is another day. On the slopes of Powder Ridge, David McKay, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.